Hey guys, welcome to The Blender on scenestr TV. Scenestr is Australia's only national street press group, and this is our web show of goings-on around the country and beyond. Starting things off today, our guy Matt is chatting with Mike Kroeger from none other than Nickelback. They're releasing a 15th anniversary edition of their album, All the Right Reasons. Take it away, Matt.
All right, Mike Kroeger from Nickelback. Welcome to The Blender. Thank you for joining me. What is life like for you and Nickelback at the moment?
For me, I live in Los Angeles and the other guys live in Vancouver, so it's a bit distant. But and the border to Canada, like the border to Australia, is closed at the moment. So as a citizen I can go there, but it's rather strict. So I think I'm pretty much on hold in the United States until we get to the other side, whatever that looks like, whenever that is.
The 15th anniversary of your album, All the Right Reasons. Congratulations, first of all, Mike. What a milestone.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It being in a band, you don't even know if you're going to be in the band for more than a year, or if the band's going to exist for more than a year, and to have an album, that was we were already close to 10 years into our career when this album came out, and now it's 15 years in the rearview mirror from that is it's really nutty. It's really crazy to think.
Were there any defining moments for you when you're writing and recording that album?
The thing that I remember the clearest was, this is the first album that we had Daniel Adair in the band. So the first song we recorded, if memory serves, which hasn't really been reliable, I believe it was Far Away was the first song that we did, that we recorded for the album. And I remember that at the very beginning, you'll never find people that are more grateful than us that we've been given this opportunity, and we really do have a good time doing this. We love to play music, and we love to travel around and play for our fans.
With fans in Australia, what has your relationship and connection been to your Australian fans over the year? I mean, they're a very passionate lot over here, I can tell you that much. So what's it been like from your perspective?
They're legion, and they are diehard and ultimately very supportive and protective of us, and we love them dearly. Australia very much is Canada with better weather and different animals. You can get punched in the mouth if you're not being polite in Canada as well as in Australia, which I like that. I find a real kinship between Canadians and Australians.
Just recently we've had the Devil Went Down to Georgia cover. I mean, what a roaring rendition you guys put to it. Just quickly, why pick up on the Charlie Daniels Band classic?
When that song came out initially, we were little kids, but I remember hearing it in my grandfather's station wagon with Chad. We were driving around with my grandfather, and we heard that song, and I remember thinking how cool it is that you could say "son of a bitch" on a song, even though it wasn't, we didn't, obviously at that age, we were very young, single digit years. It was just cool to listen to. We just liked it. And I remember hearing it all that time ago.
You are separated, of course, but are you guys working on new music?
I think we should be more active than we are. But we're going to get it together. And, there have been some ideas flying around, but there hasn't really been sort of a concerted effort to quote unquote write an album. I talked to Chad today, and I just, I told him that I'm talking to all these, journalists like you, and every one of them to a person is saying, so are you guys writing a new album while you're in the lockdown? and I said to Chad, I go, so are we? Maybe we should be if we're not, I think we might want to get on that.
Mike Kroeger, thank you very much, sir. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, man. Enjoy. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Nickelback have pumped out over 50 million units worldwide. That's a pretty solid effort. Do you have a favourite Nickelback song, Jesse?
I gotta say, I still really enjoy Savin' Me, which just so happens to be on the album that they're re-releasing. And no one can forget Photograph. Did you see that video that went viral a few years ago? Roll the clip.
Look at this graph.
Thanks for teaching us about graphs, Chad. The anniversary edition of All the Right Reasons is out now.
Adelaide is getting ready to present their annual Queer Arts Festival, Feast. Part of the celebrations is something called Quiz by Twilight, which is full of hilarious quiz questions, prizes, and special guests. One of the special guests is Real Housewife of Melbourne, Breaux. Jesse just so happens to be a huge Real Housewife fan, so he absolutely enjoyed himself. Check it out.
Real Housewife of Melbourne, Breaux. How are you?
I'm fantastic in lockdown. How are you, darling? Anyway, you're right. Thank you so much for having me along.
Well, it's funny because I actually just started re-watching Real Housewives of Melbourne because it's just so brilliant. I was like, I just had a craving to watch it again. Before any of this was even set up, by the way. So it's just so funny that I happen to be interviewing you today. But that is not why we're here. We're here to talk about Feast Festival in Adelaide, which you're part of for a second time, I believe. So what can people attending Quiz by Twilight expect from your appearance?
Oh, I think it'd be a bit of fun. I don't think you can expect anything because God knows I don't know what I'm going to be doing. Anything could happen. The gay and lesbian community, they support not only people in their own community, but, you know, rat bags like me as well. Just come along. It doesn't matter really any way you roll these days. You just come along and have some fun.
I spoke to you a couple of years ago when you were, part of Feast in 2018, and you were actually telling me about, how obviously you're a straight woman yourself, but growing up you felt a little bit on the outer and that you were bullied and that kind of thing. So can you elaborate a little bit on that?
So I left school when I was 16. I was just a bit different, you know what I mean? Quite attention deficit disorder all over the place. So I found my home in Oxford Street, just off Oxford Street, and a whole community of support and fun, and waited tables and had the most amazing time in my life. I do not recommend doing that to anyone else. It took me a long time to catch up on my education later on. I really didn't care. I really didn't think, you know what I mean? It was just fun. So yeah. I found the community really is like home for me. So.
And so what's your favourite thing about Feast, having been involved with it once before?
The sense of community, the fun, the camaraderie, the ability to express who you are.
Now to switch gears completely, I believe in the spirit of your role at Feast Festival's Quiz by Twilight, you're going to be asking me some questions in a mini quiz. So let's get into it, shall we? Cue the dramatic music.
In what year was the first Feast Festival held?
I think I recall that it was 3 years after I was born, which is ridiculous. So that would make it 1997.
That's so wrong, but yes, it's right. What former Feast Festival ambassador and Quiz by Twilight special guest recently went viral for a TikTok paint guessing competition?
Judging by the fact that it was a previous ambassador and also the TikTok element, I'm just going to guess that was Christian Hull.
Correct.
Yay.
You win a dolphin.
Oh, wow, how exciting. Always wanted a dolphin.
Which Orange is the New Black actor has performed at Feast Festival?
I've got a confession to make. I've never watched Orange is the New Black, so I genuinely have no idea who this could be. The only cast member that I'm familiar with is Leah Delaria, so I'm going to pass.
That's right. They don't.
It was Leah Delaria?
Yes.
Oh.
You win a bunch of fairy floss.
Oh, wow. I love fairy floss. My mum loves fairy floss too.
Well done, darling. Which Real Housewives of Melbourne, I like this part of the question, star released this song for the Feast Festival in 2018? Hit it.
I'm going to guess that it was you. And I've got an advantage with this one because I did chat to you around the time you were an ambassador. So I think it was called Fire and Fury.
You win an elephant and the giraffe.
Oh my gosh, all these prizes. I don't deserve it all. Yay.
Oh, darling, no, you're beautiful.
Fabulous to talk to you, of course. I'm always looking forward to new Real Housewives. Hopefully that will, get up and running again soon. But, best of luck with your appearance at Feast Festival. And yeah, congratulations on coming back. Bye.
Bye, guys.
I had a lot of fun chatting to you, Gamble. Feast Festival's Quiz by Twilight is on the 7th of November. Hey, Kate, if you were a superhero, what would your power be?
Oh, flying?
Okay, that was my attempt at a segue into the next segment, which is a game review of Avengers from Marvel. James checked it out, so let's see what he thought of it.
Back in 2019, it looked like nothing could stop the expansion of the Marvel Universe. Not Thanos, not Doctor Doom, not even the Eater of Worlds, Galactus.
Cut to 2020, and the coronavirus has led to the postponement of Black Widow on the big screen and Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney+, leaving us with only the Scarlet Witch and Vision rom-com WandaVision for our Marvel Cinematic Universe superhero fix. Square Enix's Avengers game, Marvel's Avengers, is here to fill the void and to also introduce us to a character that will also be showing up eventually on our small and maybe even big screens, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. She has go-go gadget arms and big clubbing fists. The voice acting and cutscenes in Marvel's Avengers are as humorous and action-packed as the Avenger movie franchise, and the early taste of wielding Thor's hammer, Cap's shield, and Iron Man's armor is thoroughly enjoyable. Unfortunately, in the early days of the campaign mode, you only play as Miss Marvel and the Hulk. The Hulk's smashing has always been a tricky thing to capture, both on film and in video games. Compared to the other playable characters, the Hulk feels a bit inauthentic, like a giant bodybuilder coated in green paint. Early on, too, it is clear that this game has been built for multiplayer. As in World of Warcraft, you can slowly upgrade your character's gear and powers and devote large portions of your life to assembling with online brethren to defeat the regularly updated rogues gallery of supervillains. Like many online-focused games, and probably to help pay for the likely enormous license fee owing to Marvel, this title is built around microtransactions. Like Tony Stark, you can use your wealth to upgrade your equipment. The multiplayer market is already stacked, and whether Marvel is able to leverage their brand recognition and muscle in on the action is debatable. This game is fun, but maybe not as fun as it could have been. 4 stars.
Marvel's Avengers is out now. Well, we've almost reached the end of another episode, but before we wrap up, New Zealand comedian Bec Sandys is listing her 5 things to get nostalgic about. I know I could add to this list for hours, but let's see what you've got, Bec.
G'day there, I'm Bec Sandys, comedian from New Zealand. Hey, I'm here to give you my top 5 things to get nostalgic about. Let's rip into it. Number 5, the mixtape. Oh, if you haven't made a mixtape in your life, you haven't lived. Number 4 on the list, I've split it into 2. First bit, ozone layer. Definitely had it in the 80s for sure, because why else would our parents lather us up with oil, cooking oil, baby oil, coconut oil, lather us up, send us out into the sun to bake. On your way. Part 2, we would hoon off on our bikes, find somewhere to swim. That would either be the local river, the school pool, or anything that you had to pay money to get into. We'd jump the fence, rock on, have fun, like doing bombs and all kinds of stuff, and would leave these like oil streaks in the water from all of the oil that we're being lathered in. So that's my number 4. The third thing on my list, number 3, lolly scrambles. Very nostalgic for the lolly scramble, but in New Zealand, they put a ban on lolly scrambles in the 90s. They're going a bit too extreme with it. Guess a lolly can really do some damage when it's being dropped from a helicopter. Number 2 on my list of things to get nostalgic about, roller skating. As a kid in Ash Vegas, growing up in Ash Vegas, we had a place, it was called Wizards Skate Ranch, and it catered for all of us in the town. So you had the roller skating, there was Space Invader games all around the outside, there was a DJ who played music, but the best thing about it, the perk for all of us kids that we looked forward to the most, was they had a jar on the counter, and for 20 cents, you could buy yourself a single cigarette. No age restrictions, at any age, you could just help yourself to that jar as long as you had 20 cents. Amazing. And that brings me to number 1, life before social media. It was a time of freedom. It was a time to be alive. We could do whatever we wanted. Get naked, parties, wouldn't show up on someone's newsfeed the next day. You wouldn't be reminded about it 28 years later. That is my numero uno. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Bec Sandys, and I hope to be over in Aussie at some point soon, doing some comedy for yous. Take care out there.
Life before social media. It was so peaceful. Remember when MSN first became a thing? What a game changer.
Yeah, I think my main memory was just how ridiculous everyone's usernames were. Did you have anything juicy, Jesse?
Well, yes, and I still use it to this day on my iTunes account. It's my email address, and it's Jesse_rocks_1994.
Yeah. Classic. That's a classic MSN name.
Yeah.
Well, we've come to the end of another episode of The Blender. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to hit the subscribe below if you want to see more of us.
And why not tell us your favourite Nickelback track or your ideal superhero power while you're at it? Bye, guys.
Thanks, bye.